Hello, Culture Matters podcast. Buckle up.
Uh,
Buckle up. Before I introduce our guest, here's a quote just for this episode. Something we cannot see protects us from something we do not understand. The thing we cannot see is culture in its intrapsychic or internal manifestation. The thing we do not understand is the chaos that gave rise to culture. If the structure of culture is disrupted unwittingly, chaos returns. We will do anything to defend ourselves against that return. Our guest today is a co host on this series we've been doing around a work of art for someone very important to not only the Culture Matters podcast, but Culture Matters. And that is Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, co-host today, our guest joining us. I guess we'll have to figure which one is that. Vinnie Candelore Jr.
yeah,
Thanks
yeah,
for coming back and participating in this journey with me as we we I get as we figure out what paint and what and how to hold the brush, or it's like you're helping me figure out in a sense my own. Am I even holding a brush, or what paint colors have I been using? Because as I've been doing these monologues on each rule for the last, because the listeners, this is coming out way later. They've been listening back to back to each rule, forcibly been listening because they don't have, every day a new episode comes out and
mhm.
it's all the rules, one after another. When there aren't guests in there, it's been a lot of rules of not even read this book Beyond Order of 12 Rules. And now they're listening to these conversations recorded months before this delivery of Dr. Peterson's painting. So thank you. If you don't know who Vinnie Candelore is, and you're listening to the show, I'm sorry. You've got to get on Instagram, and he'll give you the Instagram in the show, and look into his work. If you the creativity and effort and passion he puts into his work is it means a lot to the people like myself and our family and those around us to receive these works. Actually, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see who Vinny is behind me. There's a picture. So Vinny's in my office right now. It's kind of like there's a little like how like in Harry Potter I mean this is not meant to be negative, but there's like a little Voldemort in Harry Potter. Anyway, for the Harry Potter fans,
Oh,
thanks
I've
for
never,
coming back.
I've never seen Harry Potter, for the record.
All right, well, we'll see you all next time on the Culture Matters podcast. Haven't seen Harry Potter. Get the So, Vinny, why are we here? What's been your journey in these? This is part four, and
Yeah,
how's it going?
I upgraded to an iPhone camera since the last time we did this, so making like major strides over here in the old studio space. So, um, man, my life has just been chaos, so that's great. We could start there. Um, Chaos in like a way of, before we hit record, you said the world just feels like it's changing, and I don't even feel like the chaos is fully my doing or my life or the experiences I'm having. Like, it's just what's going on in the world in general. There's like a major, it almost feels, and it feels almost irresponsible to say, but like, everybody described COVID as just like you know a shaking of reality. Like, it feels like we're undergoing that this year. And again, I don't know if that's just because I'm experiencing a lot in my life for the first time that I've never been through. So it feels like that to me, and maybe I'm projecting that. But man, I just feel like the world is just uncertain right now. Like, it's like an energy thing. I don't really pay attention to the news. Like, I really
Mm.
don't pay attention to Twitter or X or anything. Like, I just have been working, like had my head down. So the sense that I have is just from conversations with you with, but it's just a feeling.
Yeah, what does chaos feel like? Because the quote, right?
Hmm.
When the structure of culture is disrupted unwittingly,
Hmm.
chaos returns. And last episode, we really focused on that unwittingly component.
Hmm.
Chaos returns. We've all have chaos in our life, but what does it feel like?
It feels it feels like the first painting I did for Dr. Peterson. Like just stuff everywhere. Like it feels like when you look at it, you don't know where to look first. Like that painting, that's one of the things that I think, you know, I've been wrestling with if that painting is done or not, um, forever. And we just actually recorded some content with it last week talking about the process of making it and what it means and what it represents. And like, how it is, like the more you write or talk about something, the more ideas and thoughts, like when you speak them out loud. I've had all these thoughts about that Peterson painting. Um, I don't know, what do I call it? Dr. Peterson painting, yeah, I don't know. We need to title the painting. Um, and I've had all these thoughts up here, but like when I sat down in front of a mic and was asked questions about it, it was like then I spoke them out loud and now it's formulated new thoughts. And so I do feel like I've had kind of a breakthrough in what I want this piece to look like.
Wow.
Um, Symbolically, like with the coloring and the way that I want to do the background and everything. Um, and you know, I'll capture that too. So, by the time this drops, that part of the process, I'll share that on social media. Maybe we can like link it here so people can see. Because I'm gonna make a video maybe that explains the what I'm doing here with, because it's gonna be very expressionist, like abstract. But you've been in my office, right?
Oh, yeah.
The the wall, the stripe that I have in there, it's like this variation of color. It's always like spoke to me, but I never could understand what it was like symbolic of until maybe about a year ago. It started to like take form of, and it's funny, you always talk about writing. Sorry, I'm throwing up here. You always talk about writing and speaking and then like, every day, and it creates new ideas. Like I just said before, that's what happened with the Dr. Peterson painting. Now I'm doing paintings, like I'm realizing that the office painting that I did, it didn't mean anything when I did it. And then now there's meaning to it. So
Is part of that you bringing making what was implicit and unconscious in you and represented physiologically in the work or in the effort and then visually in the work explicit in your own awareness and ability to,
that's what I want to believe. But like then there's this
like how
voice,
people look at dreams.
yes. But then there's like the voice inside of me that like doubts that. And it's like, come on, you're not that special. Like you don't have a gift like that. You know what I mean? Like there's no way you could manifest your subliminal thoughts through shutting your brain off and just allowing yourself to paint on a canvas. And it's like, well, so what's making those decisions? Like, is it just a random paint splotch? Or like, why did I decide to throw it instead of dab it with the brush? Was it random? No, it was. Did I just learn that and regurgitate it because I saw it in another video? Maybe. Um, or did something innately tell me to like blend this rather than it's just, I've been like really thinking about stuff probably too much um over the last few weeks, man. And this painting has challenged me because it's this thing that just is looming over me. Like it's this moment that I'm hyping up like in my head. It's going to be so crazy. And then I do that all the time. It doesn't matter if it was this or sports or whatever. I don't know if you do that as well. Like you envision this moment over and over and over in your
Yeah.
head that it controls your life. And then the moment happens and it's over. Can you relate to that?
I visualize.
Right,
Like I've had the conversation already. I've asked the questions. I've been on stage. That's part of the preparation.
right. But
And
is
then
it a
there'll be moments of
yeah.
when I had food poisoning last week
Mm,
and 40 hours in, it hit me. All
really?
the questions that I could ask.
Wow.
And I wrote them down in the
Yeah,
pain and suffering.
right.
And then I wrote a list of all the 12 bullets of why I was going to Jesse Itzler's ice bath sauna challenge. I'll read them to you. I
Here.
had a revelation.
I knew it, dude. I knew you weren't coming back from that place the same.
No, I had a revelation before
Before. Okay, take me.
from
How?
the anxiety of
Ah,
potentially going to this
that's what,
and being among a crowd and being more authentic and
yeah. Hmm.
going into water. I was told by everybody I knew how cold and terrible the ice plunge is.
Yeah.
And so in the unknown, this is what we're here. We're talking about Dr. Peterson. We're conceptualizing this painting to represent his work and what this means, this opportunity means. This is maps of meaning. The the known and the unknown. There's an unknown facing you right now. There was an unknown facing me. The poisoning, the physical pain and
Hmm.
suffering put me in a state of forcing me to reflect, to
Wow.
think.
Yeah.
Right? When the structure of culture is disrupted. So
Mm,
the base homeostasis, the psychological equilibrium of the day to day, the normal pain and suffering, the normal level of pain and suffering I'm used to
right.
bearing is disrupted. It's breaking. Now another a heightened level of anxiety in the face of the unknown. Am I going to despair or is there hope? And so I'm in pain. I'm sick. I'm tired. And it came into my mind. It came to me. The what up like the conversation.
Yeah.
This is last Friday. Yeah, last Friday.
Hmm.
No, yes, last Friday. It came to me and I could see myself, everything was there. And I was going through questions, different contexts
Hmm.
based on audience, myself, doctor, the macro. And I remember thinking, let me write this down. And then I thought, no, I'm tired.
Mm,
And then I just said, no, no, I'm going to write it down. And and I did. I put it in a note and I'm going to transfer those to the document I'm using. And that won't be what I ask, but it's a part of the process
yeah.
to I have a whole, on the other flip side, the sauna was imminent. So there was actually there's a that medium I was intentionally going into that environment to break myself, to molt. And I had a nightmare before a few days before, and I
Mm,
woke up and I shook Jen and said, "This is ridiculous. I'm not going." And she
really?
was still asleep. Woke up the next morning. She goes, Was I dreaming or did you say you didn't want to, you're not going to do that?" I said, "I'm going." I'd already worked it out.
Yeah.
But back to the food poisoning. In that pain and suffering, I wrote a 12-point list of why I was going to put. So why is this important for the listeners and you and me in this conversation?
Yeah.
In the face of the unknown, this is what I've learned from Doctor. In the face of the unknown, that anxiety, how we mediate it leads to despair or hope. By writing down why, that's associated with my aim, my vision. I'm writing down why I'm going to do it. This is why I'm going to do it. It's my aim, my vision has been written. Now it's okay, how am I gonna in the maps of meaning as an individual, you're an individual, I'm an individual, our listeners are individuals. We're the mediator between chaos and order. We're the divine son in that mythological explanation between uh, ma masculine, feminine, order, chaos, right? Order, the walled garden, chaos, what's outside? Well, what's outside? This experience, who I could become, or who I could fail, like who I could become for the worser, who I could
Right.
become for the better.
Yeah.
Write down why. Why is this important to me? Why am I going? Now it's all right. How? I'm already embodied in that I am participating in the conflict. And I'm thinking now, how and what? What do I have to do? How do I show up? I'm no longer in the state of fight or flight, anxiety and despair. I'm
Mhm.
in hope and excitement
Yeah.
because I've clarified my thought and anchored to that. So that's part of the value of having a business plan
Mm.
or a team that gathers and like,
Yeah.
what's our plan? What are
Right.
our key performance indicators?
Right.
What's our job description? How do
Yeah.
I fit within that? And what, because how can I be responsible if I'm not aware of what I'm responsible for? And how can I be held to account in the absence of clarity of what the goal is and
Right.
why it exists and how we can get there? So that it can be done for all of us on an individual level with everything that it is that we do. And that's what Doctor is teaching us in these 24 rules, for example, which are broken down. They're breaking down and making tangible this general theory of the maps of meaning, the architecture of belief. Each rule is a part of the. It's a key, a part of the combination. There's 24 to open up the lock. It's like
Yeah.
24 little keys of the combination. So I was freaking out. I was anxious. I was in despair. I was about to quit, which would reveal my character. Coward,
Mm.
coward. Uh, right. Everyone's at the battle. Where's Jay? Like the Mongol horde is coming. We're all there. Where's Jay? Oh, he
Mm.
didn't show up. He's not here. Now everyone's afraid. Now they're all going to die from the Mongol horde. That's how much each of our lives matters. Like each of us that don't show up for the battle, the morale of the team. I think we each have to think like we were the one that was necessary to show up for that battle to be won.
Mm.
Because if the general doesn't show up,
Yeah. This is
then
this is tough.
the men
This
will
is
get slaughtered.
this is tough because I think when I think about my life and the times where I've been in the battle like that, um, it's like I've been standing there fighting, and upset that it just feels like the fight never ends and that I've accepted that I'm going to die on the battlefield. Like what I want to know what that feels like. Not really, but like, being a soldier in battle and realizing like I'm not getting out of this. Like what changes in your brain in that moment? You're
That's but isn't that life? I'm not
yeah,
getting out of this alive.
100%. And so then okay, so if you're in the battle, right? And you realize like I'm not getting out of this alive. At what point do you just start fighting however the hell you want to fight?
I think that depends how much truth you can handle.
Mm, mm. Is it because the truth would be
The strength of a person's spirit would then be measured by how much truth he could tolerate, or more precisely, to what extent he needs to have it diluted, disguised, sweetened, muted, falsified. I want to add something here.
yeah,
Many of our listeners may not have it, they have not yet even tried anything, like truly tried. Put it all on the table, put it all on the line. Rule 7 in Beyond Order: work as hard as you possibly can on at least one thing and see what happens. When things don't go as expected, anxiety, chaos returns on an individual level. Chaos returns. That's now the friction between our who we are today and who we can be. Who we are today and who we can be. We have a possibility of growing through that. All right, problem solving. I think so. What this series has been about is about attempting to bring into awareness the components of being a part of the successful process. The successful process is more than just one thing. In Rule 1, do not carelessly denigrate social institutions or creative achievements. There's a checklist. What's the relationship like with me and my spouse? Have I been educated to my level of ambition? What's my relationship with my family? What's my relationship with my career? What's my relationship with my community? And it goes through this checklist. All of us listening and participating, all of our relationship with this checklist reveals a degree of integration and an integrated individual spirit. And I think how much truth we can handle has a relationship with that integration. I've often said it a lot, like on different shows, you know, uh, because this came up actually in the circle at this sauna gathering. A young man, 20 years old, asked about. He asked advice of how he should look at the next 10 years of his life. And a lot of the feedback was around him. Like there was an undertone of him like almost like living it up, or there was an implicit in there was in the crowd there was an implicit acceptance of if he just does like what he wants to do, yeah, this was the theme. He'll discover, like it was a bunch of midlifers saying that who I would argue have not found their calling, giving a 20-year-old advice, which is bad advice about trying to discover his passion ultimately. When he doesn't even currently have an aim and a responsibility.
Yeah.
So he's going to skip the character development necessary to become a person of character. Because part of what builds character is fulfilling obligations that are out of my control, that I'm responsible for, like doing what I don't want to do. Like part of being like that's even associated with maturity and so on. And I was the pariah in the group because I said you have to have an aim, like because we use Jesse as an example. Jesse, the Itzler, this entrepreneur, he in his biography, meaning like analysis of his actual life, because in his circumstance, he was apparent, perceivably free, like a free spirit, just pursued his business young. Um, it- on an aesthetic level, one could think that he was just doing whatever and following whatever, but ultimately he had an aim. Like he wanted success and he was chasing his aim. So if a young man listening to this, or this young man specific, he has no aim, clearly. He doesn't know what he wants. He's not Jesse. He's not in the same state of consciousness. Jesse has had an aim, and he had a lack of resources. He had no home, no money, no culture, other than the values that were, and this was important, infused in him from his upbringing.
Hmm.
But he had those values and he had chutzpah from a lack of resources and reputation. That's tailwind. That's pushing him
Hmm.
towards his aim. He had an aim and he had nothing, which makes success. The young boy still has the values from the parents, but he has also resources from that, like and no aim. So he doesn't have to go to get the job as the banker because he has money or he has home or like no, he needs to be what will help him is to put him in the wilderness.
Hmm.
The Buddha left the walled garden.
Yeah.
Like that helped him find the
Right.
truth, his aim, pressure, the accountability of the world forces his ability to respond. It develops his character. So like this younger generation, I said, what's
Mhm.
your aim? If you don't have an aim, follow someone who does and develop responsibility.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
no aim and no responsibility is a generation. I said it, and no, I didn't get a strong reception, but of nihilism, meaningless, hopeless, anxious, afraid, depressed humans, abundant resources, so lack of accountability, no aim. Like if you're not going to become an investment banker, know what you're going to create. Like Vinny, you're the artist. That's your aim. The best, like that one painting that you've not made and you may not make to your 97, and then you're dead, but then that lives on forever. That's why you were here. That's the aim of Da Vinci. It's like,
Got to figure out what that is.
go make it. But um, in the absence of the aim, in the absence of the accountability, you have the depression. Now, let's say you have the accountability and there's an absence of the aim. Then you have the young man that took the investment banking job, but he doesn't know what it means. He doesn't know enough about investment banking. He hasn't discovered pride in service to the customer. He doesn't know enough, or he he, he doesn't. He's not, and that could be, well, he's not good. But then why is he not good? Is he not good because he tried and quit, or is he not good because he tried and failed? And it's clearly not like he's never going to be the investment banker. It's not his. So that's where it becomes the question of experimentation.
Right.
But if someone's at home on their couch, not experimenting anything, then they haven't tried. So there it's a interesting sequence. And then this is what the whole map said. This is what Peterson's work is about. It's about helping us clarify what our aim is and helping us navigate the conflicts that come as a natural outcome that we don't control the universe. We respond to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on a podcast right now. Like this is just I appreciate this conversation because um this is the painting is my life. And I'm doing this painting in the break. It's like I'm doing the painting on the bridge from poverty to education, intelligence. And like the bridge just doesn't have support beams. Like there's not even proof that anybody's crossed this bridge before. And I'm walking across this bridge, and all of my friends and family that I've loved my entire life are standing on the one side. They're screaming like, "We believe in you." And I'm screaming back like, "I'm coming back." Because I know that like if they all come with me, that bridge doesn't have support beams. And we're all gonna die. But if I cross the bridge, people are gonna die. There's like people in that group that by the time I come back, they're not gonna be there. Because they're either gonna have stopped believing that I'm coming back, or they're just physically gonna die. So um and sometimes that makes you just like want to jump off the bridge.
Hmm.
Sometimes it feels like there's an 18 wheeler coming down the middle of it, and your only option is to jump off the bridge because you have a better chance at living if you jump off the bridge and land right rather than get steamrolled by something that doesn't care and is just honking louder and louder as it gets closer to you.
Hmm.
And then you look in the driver's seat of that truck, and that driver's scared from whatever he just saw. So he's not even, he's just like, get out of the way. It's like, what's over there is crazy. And you're like, oh shit. Okay. Should I stay here and get hit by you, or should I just jump off? And like now I can maybe at least swim. I don't even know how high the bridge is. What are we over? Is this water? I don't even know what's under the bridge. Not only do I not know what's on the other side, but I don't know what's under. I don't even know. I don't know anything. That's the stretch from poverty to intelligence. And that's why this is important. This is what Dr. Peterson, I even go back, like, as you're talking, like that you're watching it, man. Like I come from nothing here other than, you know, mental just confusion. And I come from the poverty mentality, struggle, immense struggle, pain, suffering, depression, all the things you said that are accompanied to chaos. And I don't want to go back there, and I don't want my kids to have to live on that side of the bridge. So I'm walking, and it is like so painful because it's like, dude, I don't want to be in a poverty mindset. But like, we're all gonna die. When I was in a poverty mindset, I didn't think like this. I could just enjoy life. Now that was fake because it was still festering inside of me and killing me, the truth that I wasn't willing to face. But if this isn't what it feels like to face truth and be willing to accept like that, dude, like I know I could possibly be wrong here. Then I don't know if I want to know what it feels like on the other side. It feels like I crossed the bridge. And now I have to go back. And like that's it. I have to go back because I started walking, and when I started walking, I came across more resources and more people and more things, but I started walking before those things were there. So like I didn't start walking because I saw them. I started walking because they were in the fog still, and I knew they were there. And I just, if I had to, I walked because I like felt called to walk. I felt different from the people on the one side of the bridge that will never watch this podcast, and it's free. But yet, they'll just, oh, he's a dreamer. Or do I see it? I don't want my kids to have to walk this bridge. I want to teach them what it was like and tell stories and allow them to watch me walking across the bridge. That's why I wanted to record this shit. I should just get a therapist, not do a podcast. But like, even in that, like, I'm like, dude, what am I hiding? But like, if I can only be real to a therapist behind a closed door, like, eventually what they're going to say is like, you need to say whatever you're saying to me to whoever's in the world that you can't say it to. That's what a therapist is. So here I am, dude, like fully dumb is what it feels like.
Read. I want to read something to you. Where are we with the before I do? What in your process of unbecoming here,
Mhm.
what do you see this painting as today?
This painting this is going to be my attempt to put on a canvas what has been this journey of crossing the bridge, what it's felt like. But it's not going to be everything all at once thrown up on a canvas. I need to figure out what the target of that idea is. What is the main what what is the reason why I chose to walk across the bridge? And then I want that to be in the middle of the painting. And then I want this chaos around it. I guess similar to the first painting we did. But this time it's um I have to choose what the centerpiece is.
I, okay, so there's a bridge, like there's where we are and there's where we're going, and there's complete potential around this. Like it's like not necessarily fire, but just death or and potential around this. Like point A, point B. And the bridge represents that meet that that path, that journey.
Yeah.
You work in an office. You're climbing the corporate ladder. Your daily activity reflects this superordinate goal. You are constantly immersed in one activity or another designed to produce an elevation in your status from the perspective of the corporate hierarchy. Today, you have to attend a meeting that may prove vitally important to your future. You have an image in your head, so to speak, that the nature of that meeting and the interactions that will characterize it. You imagine what you would like to accomplish. Your image of this potential future is a fantasy, but it is based, insofar as you are honest, on all the relevant information derived from past experience that you have at your disposal. You have attended many meetings. You know what is likely to happen during any given meeting within reasonable bounds. You know how you will behave and what effect your behavior will have on others. Your model of the desired future is clearly predicated on what you currently know. You also have a model of the present, constantly operative. You understand your somewhat subordinate position within the corporation, which is your importance relative to others above and below you in the hierarchy. You understand the significance of those experiences that occur regularly while you are while you are during your job, doing your job. You know who you can give orders to, who you have to listen to, who is doing a good job, who can safely be ignored, and so on. You are always comparing this present unsatisfactory condition to that of your ideal, which is you, increasingly respected, powerful, rich, and happy, free of anxiety and suffering, climbing toward your ultimate success. You are unceasingly involved in attempts to transform the present as you currently understand it into the future as you hope it will be. Your actions are designed to produce your ideal, designed to transform the present into something ever more closely resembling what you want. You are confident in your model of reality, in your story. When you put it into action, you get results. You prepare yourself mentally for your meeting. You envision yourself playing essentially important role, resolutely determining the direction the meeting will take, producing a powerful impact on your coworkers. You are in your office preparing to leave. The meeting is taking place in another building several blocks away. You formulate provisional plans of your behavior designed to get you there on time. You estimate travel time at 15 minutes. You leave your office on the 27th floor and you wait by the elevator. The minutes tick by, more and more of them. The elevator fails to appear. You had not taken this possibility into account. The longer you wait, the more nervous you get. Your heart rate starts increasing as you prepare for action, action unspecified as of yet. Your palms sweat. You're flush. You berate yourself for failing to consider the potential impact of such a delay. Maybe you are not as smart as you think you are. You begin to revise your model of yourself. No time for that now. You put such ideas out of your head and concentrate on the task at hand. The unexpected has just become manifest in the form of the missing elevator. You planned to take it to get to where you were going. It did not appear. Your original plan of action is not producing the effects desired. It was, by your own definition, a bad plan. You need another one, and quickly. Luckily, you have an alternate strategy at your disposal. The stairs. You dash to the rear of the building. You try the door to the stairwell. It is locked. You curse the maintenance staff. You are frustrated and anxious. The unknown has emerged once again. You try to another exit. Success. The door is open. Hope springs forth from your breast. You still might make it on time. You rush down the stairs, all 27 floors, and onto the street. You are, by now, desperately late. As you hurry along, you monitor your surroundings. Is progress toward your goal continuing? Anyone who gets in your way inconveniences you. Elderly women, playful, happy children, lovers out for a stroll. You are a good person under most circumstances, at least in your own estimation. Why, then, do these innocent people aggravate you so thoroughly? You near a busy intersection. The crosswalk light is off. You fume and mutter away stupidly on the sidewalk. Your blood pressure it rises. The light finally changes. You smile and dash forward. Up a slight rise, you run. You are not in great physical shape. Where did all this energy come from? You are approaching the target building. You glance at your watch. 5 minutes left. No problem. A feeling of relief and satisfaction floods you. You are there. In consequence, you are not an idiot. If you believed in God, you would thank him. Had you been early, had you planned appropriately, the other pedestrians and assorted obstacles would not have affected you at all. You might have even appreciated them, at least the good looking ones, or may at least not have classified them as obstacles. Maybe you would have even used the time to enjoy your surroundings, unlikely, or to think about other issues of real importance, like tomorrow's meeting. You continue on your path. Suddenly, you hear a series of loud noises behind you, noises reminiscent of large motorized vehicle hurtling over a small concrete barrier, much like a curb. You are safe on the sidewalk, or so you presumed a second ago. Your meeting fantasies vanish. The fact that you are late no longer seems relevant. You stop hurrying along instantly, arrested in your path by the emergence of this new phenomenon. Your auditory system localizes sounds in 3 dimensions. You involuntarily orient your trunk, neck, head, and eyes toward the place and space from which the sounds apparently emanate. Your pupils dilate and your eyes widen. Your heart rate speeds up as your body prepares to take adaptive action once the proper path of action has been specified. You actually explore the unexpected occurrence once you have oriented yourself towards it with all the sensory and cognitive resources you could muster. You are generating hypotheses about the potential cause of the noise even before you turn. Has a van jumped the curb? The image flashes through your mind. Has something heavy fallen from a building? Has the wind overturned a billboard or street sign? Your eyes actively scan the relevant area. You see a truck loaded with bridge parts heading down the street just past a pole in the road. The mystery is solved. You have determined the specific motivational significance of what just seconds ago was the dangerous and threatening unknown, and it is zero. A loaded truck hit a bump. Big deal. Your heart slows down. Thoughts of the impeding meeting re enter the threat of your mind. Your original journey continues as if nothing has happened. What is going on? Why are you frightened and frustrated by the absence of the expected elevator, the presence of the old woman with the cane, the carefree lovers, the loud machinery? Why are you so emotionally and behaviorally variable? Detailed description of the processes governing these common affective occurrences provides the basis for proper understanding of human motivation. What Sokolov and his colleagues essentially discovered was that the unknown, experienced in relationship to your currently extant model of present and future, has a priori motivational significance, or, to put it somewhat differently, that the unknown could serve as an unconditioned stimulus. What is the a priori motivational significance of the unknown? Can such a question even be asked? After all, the unknown, by definition, has not yet been explored. Nothing can be said by the dictates of standard logic about something that has not yet been encountered. We are not concerned with sensory information, however, nor with particular material attributes, but with valence. Valence, in and of itself, might be most simply considered as bipolar, negative or positive, or, of course, as neither. We are familiar enough with the ultimate potential range of valence, negative and positive, to place provisional borders around possibility. The worst the unknown could be, in general, is death, or perhaps lengthy suffering followed by death. The fact of our vulnerable morality provides the limiting case. The best the unknown could be is more difficult to specify, but some generalizations might prove acceptable. We would like to be wealthy, or at least free from want, possessed of good health, wise and well loved. The greatest good the unknown might confer, then, might be regarded as that which would allow us to transcend our to transcend our innate limitations, poverty, ignorance, vulnerability, rather than to remain miserably subject to them. The emotional area covered by the unknown is therefore very large, ranging from that which we fear most to that which we desire most intently. The unknown is, of course, defined in contradiction to the known. Everything is not understood or not explored is unknown. The relationship between the oft and unfairly separated domains of cognition and emotion can be more clearly comprehended in light of this rather obvious fact.
What just happened?
Page 24 and 25 and 26 of Maps of Meaning, The Architecture of Belief. If the listeners haven't picked up this book by now and started to read it, and take it very seriously, I hope they're starting to, as a consequence of us having these conversations about this painting.
Did you say that he was carrying bridge supplies in the truck?
There you go. I wasn't planning on reading this today at all, but when you said that, I thought about this story of someone being late to a meeting.
Fuck, dude. This is like actually crazy. This shit's so weird. Like I feel unlike is this just me? I hope that like if this ever like are we I don't even know if we're allowed to actually post this series anymore. This is too personal. Like this is not okay, dude.
It's
This
like what? Yeah, this is like one of those movies, the movies that and it's
stop.
real.
Stop, Jay. Okay? Because like
Those are the cool movies.
yeah, very cool movies, dude. They're like driving you're this is not cool. This is like so cool, dude. All right, let's end this thing. Good afternoon and good night, dude.
If
Jesus.
you're listening to this podcast, share this with a friend that's a person that has actual value. Like they're clearly someone that has value, that is of value. They are not an NPC. This podcast is for those. This series is for those, as Vinny alluded to, those that are not NPCs in the video game of life. Those that are participating in the game. So
You see that
share
movie?
this.
You see that movie recently where they were like video game characters, but then they like actually like
No, but I did watch that movie you told me about last time, and
yeah,
it was,
sorry.
it was riveting. I loved it. I actually met a guy, I think that's like that. He was on the show. We released it yesterday. I'll send it to you. Yeah, I think he's been on the show. I think I had that guy on the show, and he's
Like
awesome.
Like he
Just
was
at
like,
that level of just like clearance and intelligence and you know, high level. I mean,
are you gonna post
I'm giving him a
this?
little credit, but
Are you gonna post this right after the one of me so that the listeners person yesterday was me?
ha, I would say that I'm excited. These just keep getting better and better as we do them.
Yeah, I feel the insanity getting closer. So
So here's the takeaways. Rule one, stand up straight with your shoulders back. 12 rules for life. Rule two, treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. Rule three, make friends with people that want the best for you. Rule four, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Rule five, do not let your children do things that make you dislike them. Rule six, put your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Rule seven, pursue something meaningful. Pursue, pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Rule eight, tell the truth or at least don't lie. Rule nine, assume that the person you are listening to knows something that you don't. Rule 10, be precise in your speech. Rule 11, do not interrupt children when they are skateboarding. Rule 12, pet a cat when you encounter one in the street. Book 3, do not carelessly denigrate social institutions or creative achievements. Rule 2, imagine who you could be and aim single mindedly at that. Rule 3, do not hide unwanted things in the fog. Rule 4, notice that opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated. Rule 5, do not do what you hate. Rule 6, abandon ideology. Rule 7, work as hard as you possibly can on at least one thing and see what happens. Rule 8, try and make one room in your home as beautiful as possible. Rule 9, if old memories still upset you, write them down carefully and completely. Rule 10, plan and work diligently to maintain the romance in your relationship. Rule 11, do not let yourself become resentful, deceitful, and arrogant. Rule 12, be grateful despite your sufferings. That's what we need to do. That's what I'm trying to do. And that would be what I say to do based on what doctor has said to do. The doctor has prescribed the prescription. We will see you on the next time in the Culture Matters podcast. Thanks, Vinny.